Every king in the Christian world knows your name. They whisper it in throne rooms, from Paris to London to Rome. They cross an entire sea to stop you. Not one of them will succeed. You will take Jerusalem, not with hatred, but with patience. You will die with an empty treasury, having given everything away. From a Kurdish family in Tikrit to a throne that changed the world. This is your life. Salah ad-Din. Saladin. 12 levels, 1 destiny. Let's begin. Tikrit, 1137. You are not yet 1 year old. Your father is a Kurdish commander in the service of Turkish rulers. Tonight, he ferries a fugitive across the river. The man is Imad ad-Din Zengi, who will soon control half of Syria. Your father risks everything for a single crossing. Zengi remembers it. Debts of that kind are never forgotten. The family moves to Baalbek, then Damascus. You grow up in cities that belong to other men, a Kurd among Turks, a Muslim in a world cut open by Crusaders. To survive in someone else's city, you must become impossible to replace. You begin to study everything within reach. You are 14. Damascus. Nur ad-Din takes you into his court. Not out of generosity. Your father earned this place at the river. You walk through a door that someone else's debt opened. What you do with it is entirely yours. You study theology, law, military strategy, how to read people, how to hold power without being consumed by it. Nur ad-Din wages jihad not as a conqueror, but as a man with genuine belief. You watch him and understand the difference. An army that fights for an idea is worth 10 armies that fight for money. You are 31, 1164. Nur ad-Din sends your uncle Shirkuh into Egypt. The Fatimid Caliphate is rotting from within. Crusaders wait at its door. 3 times you enter Egypt. 3 times you leave. On the 4th, your uncle becomes vizier. 2 months later, he dies of overindulgence. Power falls to you, not because you are the most senior, because none of the emirs want it going to the others. You accept it in silence. A Kurdish 30-year-old becomes vizier of Egypt. Level 4, the end of a dynasty. You are 34. 1171. The Fatimid Caliph is dying. He lies in his chambers and does not know what is happening outside his door. Outside, you are quietly switching the Friday prayers from his name to the Abbasid Caliph in Baghdad. Within hours, the Fatimid Caliphate, which had ruled Egypt for 200 years, ceases to exist. Al-Adid dies the same day. His servants did not have the courage to tell him what happened. Some things are kinder not to know. You now stand over the wealthiest country in the Islamic world. The resources exist. The question is, where to aim them? Level 5, after the teacher. You are 36, 1174. Nur ad-Din dies. His heir is 11 years old. Syria splits apart. You march out of Egypt. You say you are coming to protect the heir. Everyone understands you are coming for power. Both things are true. Damascus opens its gates without a fight. You do not rush. They are fighting over cities. You are building a state. 8 years of negotiations, sieges, promises, and threats. When it is done, Syria, Mesopotamia, and Egypt stand under one banner. You raise your eyes toward Jerusalem. Level 6, Hattin. July 4th, 1187. You are 49. You cut off the water. That is all. The Crusaders march out with a full army. You pull them through the hills in summer heat. 3 days without sources. Horses collapse. Men collapse. King Gi camps at the horns of Hattin, 2 hills above a dried lake. At night, you set fire to the grass. Smoke rolls into their camp until dawn. By morning, they have no water, no air, and no way out. Your cavalry finishes what the desert started. The king is captured. The Grand Master of the Templars is executed by your own hand. The army of Jerusalem ceases to exist in a single day. A city without an army is just a building. October 2nd, 1187. In 1099, the Crusaders entered this city knee-deep in blood. They killed for 3 days. Now you stand at the same walls with the same power to do the same thing. You do not do it. You negotiate a surrender, a ransom for each resident. Those who cannot pay, you release from your own treasury. You explain it once. Jerusalem is a holy city. Blood spilled here does not wash out. Not one Christian was harmed. The West heard this and did not believe it. Then checked. It was true. You are 53, Richard of England, the Lionheart, the best military commander in Europe. He is not coming for trade or politics. He is coming for you, personally. You lose Acre. You cannot stop his coastal march. His discipline is iron. Your archers empty their quivers into his shields, and not one formation breaks. At Arsuf, you attack and pull back. Richard does not give you a gap. This one will not make a mistake from thirst and panic. This one will need a different approach. Autumn, 1191. Richard rides to the gates of Jerusalem twice. Twice he stops. Even if he takes the city, he cannot hold it. European barons will ride home. The garrison will rot. You will come back. He knows it. You know it. Two men look at each other across the walls and think the same thought. Negotiations begin. In the end, no agreement is reached. But the conversation itself says something. You and Richard are the only people in this war thinking past the next battle. September 11, 92. The Peace of Jaffa. Jerusalem stays yours. Christian pilgrims receive the right to visit holy sites freely. The coastal strip remains with the Crusaders. This is not victory. This is not defeat. This is reality written on paper. Richard boards a ship and sails away. You send couriers after him with fruit and fresh ice. He had been ill during the final negotiations. It is not weakness. You just ended a war with the finest commander in Europe on terms that suit you. Respect for a worthy opponent costs nothing. Level 11. The Empty Treasury. February 1193. Damascus. You are 55. The fever comes after a ride on a cold day. Within a week, you do not rise. Calculations begin immediately. Who gets what? The treasurer reports on your assets. Less than 40 silver dirhams, not one gold coin. You gave everything away. Salaries, donations, ransoms, construction, arms. 30 years of rule over the wealthiest lands in the Islamic world. Less than 40 silver coins for a burial. Your companions stand in silence. None of them know what to say. Level 12. Morning in Damascus. March 4th, 1193. A cleric reads the Quran at your bedside. He reaches the verses about trust in God. Witnesses say something close to a smile appears on your face. Then the breathing stops. A simple grave. No gold because there was no gold. Saladin, who unified the Islamic world, recaptured Jerusalem and held off the Third Crusade, died without the means for his own funeral. He gave the money away. The time ran out. The Crusaders will remain in the Holy Land for another 100 years, but Jerusalem will never return to them. Richard the Lionheart will call you the greatest ruler the Islamic world ever produced. That comes from the enemy. The most honest eulogies always do. You came from Tikrit with nothing. You left Damascus with nothing. And now, you are history.